the right pickup line is confidence. You see, having a girlfriend should not be the biggest achievement in your life. Let me tell you this, don't tell anyone I told you.
Welcome to my YouTube channel. Get ready for transformation as we dive into God's Word. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Here's the first thing I want you to know when it comes to approaching the woman of your dreams. Hey, if you're so afraid, it might be symptomatic of a bigger problem. Alright, so I want to start with something preliminary. Before you ever think you're ready to approach a lady, there are some things that you must do, there are some things that you must be. There is a kind of image, self-image that you must develop. Alright, and if you're afraid to approach a lady, maybe you should. I would say maybe you shouldn't, because there are people who are of marriageable age and are still afraid. So, but there are more urgent things, and here is what I want to say. You see, having a girlfriend should not be the biggest achievement in your life. Listen, I know the music industry has sold the idea that that's all there is to life. You know, all the songs are about one lady or another, Ifunaya, Chiamaka, Amaka or something, and you know, particularly in this part of the world, it's usually Igbo girls. I don't know. When it all comes down to it, marriage shouldn't be the biggest achievement of your life. And here is one thing you need to realize: behavioral skills are more generic than people realize. So if you are scared to walk up to a lady and tell her how you feel, there are very likely several other things that you have not done. Because I mean, if you get great at some other things, it will affect every other aspect of your life. I know you've heard it 1,000 times. A lot of relationship coaches, the Christian ones say, well, before God gave Adam a wife, he gave Adam a job. As cliche as it might seem, it's very powerful and very profound. So you want to ask yourself, what have I done with my life? What are the challenges that I've faced? Because those things build confidence. Have you won a soul before? Because I mean, if you have tried to tell people about Jesus, it shouldn't be so hard to tell people about yourself. You know, so apart from all those serious things I said, like starting a business, trying to sell a product to someone, you know, those are the things that build your confidence. But simple things like having a hobby, getting really great at something, you know. Don't try to use a lady to build your self-esteem, you know, or to reassure yourself of your esteem. It's going to be a terrible, terrible mistake you're going to make. All right, so don't try to do that. Get yourself engaged in other valuable things in life. You just realize that it will filter into every other aspect of your life. All right, I just want to reiterate for the sake of emphasis: don't try to use a woman or another person to build your self-worth in life. The second is like unto it. I'm using Bible language. The second thing I want to say is don't try too hard. Don't try too hard. You know, and I know that sounds counterintuitive, but it's very profound, and I'm sure that the ladies will agree with me that trying too hard is a turn off. All right, and this is what the first point would do for you. You know, when you already have a sense of self-worth and all of that, when you approach a lady, you're going to be comfortable in your own skin. And let me tell you this, don't tell anyone I told you, that's attractive. All right, that's attractive. Listen, you might have read 100 books on approaching ladies, you know, on dating and all of that, but I will tell you one thing for sure: if you are confident, you already have it, you know, have what you need, 80%. You see, and I don't think it's too early to say this. I wanted to say this much later, but you see, pickup lines. If you try pickup lines, you might be digging your grave. You know, and some people do it and get away with it, and I will tell you why. You see, many guys, when they want to approach, you know, ladies, because guys scientifically are likely to be more logical, and ladies are likely to be more emotional. You know, so they are likely to be fixated. Guys are likely to be fixated on the words and, you know, what they say. But ladies are likely to be focused on how comfortable you are. You know, what vibe you are letting off. That's what matters. And that's why, you know, for many people who have great relationships, it's not even as if they say the right things all the time. They're just comfortable, and the lady has come to be comfortable with them and to trust them. And that's why even some of the wrong things they say, they get away with it and all of that. Let me say this. I once read a scientific experiment, a behavioral experiment. In this experiment, I think there were 3 guys. They were shown the picture of a lady, and each of them was asked to say, in terms of percentage, how interested they are in the lady. So the first said 20%, the second said 50%, and the third said 100%. Now, when they gave the profiles, and all the guys, by the way, had similar profiles, they all looked good, great jobs, and all of that. And when they gave the profiles of the guys to the lady, in all the cases, in all the experiments, the lady was drawn towards the guy who was least interested. It's just funny. Now, this might not be the case all the time, but it's the case most of the time. Scientifically, it's proven that guys who are not, head over heels, just spark up a kind of curiosity, in the ladies, So, and that's something you might want to consider. So people who are just really sincere and they just try too hard, they end up jeopardizing their chances many times. You are sincere and you don't understand what is happening. And that's why sometimes you wonder why all the bad guys seem to be having no problem at all, dating who they want and all of that. And the good, sincere guys are asking ladies out. I mean, church girls and all of that, and no one is agreeing, and maybe because you're all over her. Like, notice me, you're jumping like this, I'm a Christian, so it's Christian to be nice. It's Christian to be kind, But hey, it is also Christian to have your confidence in God. You shouldn't idolize anybody, and especially not the lady that you're trying to meet. And for this to work, I think you can call this a third point. You must have a healthy perspective to rejection. Let me tell you something. If you are too afraid to be rejected, maybe dating is not for you. And this is why a lot of people do a lot of silly things when the relationship, does not work. I don't want that to be you. Maybe you should have just little attachments. Don't tight it to your chest. Respect the lady. Know that she has a choice, and then you have choices too. You are not out of choices, for crying out loud, okay? And this comes to, brings me to some theological misconceptions, where people think the Bible expression, bone of my bone, implies that there is one specific person who has your missing rib somewhere in the world who you must get married to, otherwise you're screwed. But take note of this. I don't even have to explain the nitty-gritties of the, theological expression. I'll just say this to you. Adam said, bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. So we know that Eve was made from his bone, but not of his flesh. So when he said bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, he was not necessarily referring to the fact that she was made of his bone, as people seem, but to the fact that she was of his kind. Because earlier, God brought animals to Adam to see what he would call them. And the Bible categorically tells us that he gave names to all the animals, but none of them was helpmeet, for Adam. So that was talking about class consciousness in terms of kind. All right. So, please, for God's sake, in all the Bible, you don't see, that doctrine there where you're told that there is only one person. So when you're rejected, just say in your mind, just say, well, even beautiful ladies make bad choices. So I just move on, And that's true. I'm not saying that to shade anyone. But you see, I think that's going to bring me to my next point. You have to understand that just because a lady is beautiful doesn't mean she will make the right choice all the time. All right? Even beautiful ladies make wrong choices. So the next point will be this. Get to know her. Get to know her. Because she's beautiful doesn't make her the right person. Doesn't make her the right partner. All right? And so you must have enough self-worth to be particular about who you want to spend the rest of your life with. And so if she's the one doing the scrutinizing, she's the one asking all the questions on the date, and you know why she's asking the questions, to know if you are worth her time or not, then something is wrong. So on the dates, ask questions, to know if she really loves the Lord, if she really loves people, if she has a compelling dream in life. You should have enough self-worth personally to also throw questions out there. All right. So that's quite important. And then here's the flip side. She's more likely to be attracted to you when she sees you as a person with high values, knows what he wants. So feel free to say, you know what, I always imagined and prayed that I would end up with such and such a person. So this is the kind of woman I want. This is the kind of standard I want. And you say that respectfully, not in an obnoxious way, obviously, but in a respectful way. Yes. And when a lady sees a guy who knows what he wants, it just raises her level of respect and attraction. So on those dates, ask questions too. And the next one, you're not going to see it coming, but someone has to say it. Hey guys, be realistic. Be realistic, or to put it in the most respectful way possible. Cut your coat according to your size. And that's not, listen, and to this there are exceptions, but whether we like it or yes, we all are class conscious people. And I'm not saying that in a disrespectful, sinful manner. When Adam said bone of bone, flesh of my flesh, he was saying, now you're talking. That's class consciousness. All right. So when I'm talking about cutting your coat according to your size, you need to ask yourself this: if this is the type of woman I want, what kind of man must I be? If wishes were horses, beggars will ride. A woman cannot spend quality time improving herself, getting better at everything, having a compelling dream in life, and then she's going to end up with you get what I'm saying. So take that challenge, improve yourself, dress better, talk better, get something decent doing. No one is even saying you have to be more successful than she is. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying you have to be filthy rich. I'm not saying you have to be a multi-billionaire. I'm just saying just have something going for you. Be confident, and that will definitely put you in a better position. All right, I'm going to end right now. But here is something also I want to say. Still on the first point. When it comes to being great, even on a friendship level, with the opposite sex, I'm talking about guys now, talking to guys, being comfortable with women, here is something you need to realize. And it's just akin to something that happened in the Bible, when Jesus said, in the kingdom of God, those who are like little children will be great. There's a lot to cherish about little children. And I learned this somewhere, and I want to share this. In a relationship context, when you are free enough to say what you want, say how you feel in the most respectful but authentic way, without bothering too much that people will be offended and all of that. Even though your aim is not to offend people, you must be authentic enough to say what you mean. You understand what I'm saying? And those people are more likely to have more ladies attracted to them. And I'm not telling you how to get all the ladies in the world attracted. All these principles I'm sharing with you is to get the one right person. Okay? So here is what I want to tell you. Learn to be comfortable in your own skin. Learn to be expressive. Say how you feel. When you're too scared to offend, that's a turn off. Just say what you want. Don't beat around the bush. Hey, I like you. I've been observing you for a while. I know you're a good Christian. I know you love people. I know you're great at what you do. I want to marry you. Let me tell you something. That is going to save you 1,000 pickup lines. Corny pickup lines that are just going to make you the laughing stock of the entire neighborhood. So the right pickup line is confidence. Let me put it that way. Just be confident, not in a narcissistic way for God's sake, but just in a soft but confident way. All right. Say what you want to say, how you want to say it, in the most respectful way, without any negative intention, but in the most authentic way possible. And there are ways to begin to practice it. Practice it in relationships generally. Some of you cannot tell your parents in the most respectful way, this is what I want to do with my life. Hey, if you can't do that, maybe that's why the ladies are saying no to you, because they don't want to be brought into that situation. Because a man who is heading a home and cannot stand up to his parents, not in a bashful manner, but to say, this is the direction I want to go with my life, that's going to be a terrible thing. So maybe that's something you need to start working on generally. Tell your colleagues at work, maybe even your boss, in the most respectful, clear way. Sir, ma, this is what I want with my life. This is what I want to do. Learn to do that. In church, learn to sing out, dance, don't take life too serious. I'm going to say this, but hey, if you learn to laugh more, learn to smile more, learn to dance more without being, too conscious of what people will think, you will just discover that you're going to have better relationships with people in general.
I believe you have been blessed by this message. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. God bless you.